Hello, everyone. Um, just gonna wait until some people show up. I'm not sure how the audio is, so let me know if you guys can hear anything and can hear the audio. I don't have my mic. I don't have my headphones. Sorry, so how it's sounding. So I'm just waiting, and hopefully, so let me know if you can hear me, or if it's because last time I did a reading for the last reading I did was for Taurus. The audio didn't come out quite good, so just let me know if you guys can hear me, because I didn't have a way to track if you guys can hear me, okay? Hi, can you hear properly? I don't have my headphones, so I can't tell. Okay. Is the music too loud or is it low? Is it good amount? Oh, okay, that's probably the internet. But you can hear but the audio is fine though, right? Oh, okay, that's good. Um, how about the music? Is it too loud? Okay, good. Okay, so the music is good. Okay, so I'm doing a reading for this full moon in Libra. Felix, no, come, Felix. My cat wants to join us. Okay. Oh, the music you mean, or the audio? Raise up the music or the audio? Oh, okay. Put it up. Don't. Okay, I'll put it up to there. Uh, okay, thank you. Okay, so today's reading is the full moon in Libra. So today is a pink moon. I didn't know there was a pink moon today, so there's an interesting situation about that, but I don't think I'll mention it here. but um, but yeah, let's talk a little bit about full moon in Libra. Hey, hey, Felix, come, come. So yeah, the full moon in Libra. Well, Libra is about relationships. Sorry. That's my cat. He gets so mad when I do readings. Felix, I can't always be spending time with you. Come. Yeah, he gets come, come, Felix. Don't drop the camera. Hmm? Come. Yeah, he's being such a bad kid lately. Come here. Hmm? You want to be in the video? And I just gave him a bunch of snacks too. So he, yeah, he still wants to. He doesn't want me to do the reading today, but I still have to do the reading. Because it's the full moon and it's in Libra. So, full moon in Libra. Well, Libra is about relationships and partnerships, right? And it's Libra is a sign of Venus. It's also, yeah. And well, so we're gonna, in the full moon, obviously, we're gonna be purging out a lot of emotions. So, a lot of situations regarding relationships, partnerships, marriages, and it's interesting because, like, well, with the full moon, it's quite challenging when we're dealing with certain signs in that area because, for example, for me, I have Chiron. My Chiron is in the 7th house. So Chiron is the sign of Libra, and it's also about partnerships and relationships. So, yeah, and Chiron is the wounded healer, so there's a lot of pain there happening in regards to partnerships and relationships and all that matter, and it's also and in my natal chart, it's also my moon sign is also in, in the sign in the 7th house as well. So, yeah, and so it was quite rough for me for this full moon. I didn't know if I was gonna do the reading today. I didn't know if I was gonna do 'cause I was a little delayed, and I was actually thinking not to do it just because it was getting a bit overwhelming. It's kinda hard for me to do, readings during the full moon because that's when I get really hit, you know, energetically, emotionally, it impacts me a lot. So, and especially having Chiron in the 7th house, which is the sign of Libra, very, very painful. And, um, being in the sign of Cancer, which is being in the sign of Cancer, which is the mother wound too. So, okay, lay down there. Felix, are you gonna let me do this reading? Felix, let me do the reading, okay? I think Felix is also feeling the full moon in Libra today because in relation to mother, right? I'm his mother, right? And he wants all the attention right now. My goodness, Felix. Okay, he left. Wow. He's usually good, like, he's like a good boy, and he lets me do what I need to do. He lets me do my readings, especially my live readings, right? And he's quite patient, but, like, right now, he's not. Right now, he's being really bad, like, he's like, "No, mom, I'm not gonna let you do the reading or I'm gonna ruin it for you." Oh my he's usually a good boy, but yeah, during, full moon in Libra, so full moon is about mother too, so he may be a bit more emotional, want more attention, right? More than usual. He may want more my maternal attention, my maternal love, right? So, yeah, this is an example of it, and he and usually I'm quite busy on the computer all the time. It was worse before when I was working because 'cause I'm taking a break right now, and he hates when I work full time at my job, and I'm always on the computer, and he hates that. And Luna is quite patient, my other cat, my black kitty. She's very patient, she likes to chill with me, and she'll stay in the room quietly, peacefully, and do her own thing. But Felix is very demanding and attention, like, he demands attention, and he wants attention, he will get attention. So I have to constantly give him attention all the time. Yeah, and sometimes, it's kinda hard to calm him down a bit before I do my reading, but eventually he calms down and I can do the reading, but right now I think he's like, "No, I don't want you to do the reading," so full moon today, right? So and it's about partnerships and relationships, any relationships of any kind, not just regarding like romantic relationships, but also like, relationships regarding your mother, your father, your siblings, right? It doesn't have to be just about romantic relationships. It's any type of relationship really in the Libra, sign of Libra, right? So that's enhancing more emotions. It's kind of purging out, it's full moon. It moves the waters, right? It's more enhanced. So we're gonna be more emotional than usual. We're gonna need more attention from our parents, maybe our mother, or from our spouse, or from our siblings, or from our relationships. Like Felix and me, for example, he's demanding more attention than usual, right? So yeah, so that's how it is. So that's really what you may be going through this full moon in Libra, and you may be purging a lot of things. If things are not working well with your relationships with other people, and if things are not working well in regards to, relationships with your mother or your father or your spouse or your partner, so be a little bit patient because it is the full moon in Libra, so it's more enhanced. You may be more emotional than usual, more triggered, right? A bit more overwhelmed emotionally than usual. So something small can be much more bigger than usual. Something more smaller can turn into something more big, right? So try to be patient with your parents. Try to be patient with your spouses, your partners, with your children. Oh my gosh, right? So yeah, it's can gotta be patient. And so yeah, so be a little bit patient for these. Well, during the full moon energies, and we tend to feel it a little bit early than the full moon. So I like I like to do the readings like on the full moon, but sometimes it's good to do it a bit earlier, the readings, because the energy of the full moon takes place a little bit more earlier. Well, I feel it a bit more earlier before it hits the full moon, right? So, but it still carries on for the next week. So either way, if you have been already feeling this, it's gonna continue for this week, but it may decrease later on. So yeah, if you've been feeling it for the past week, this is why, right? And and I was saying, like for me, it's kind of worse for me because my Chiron is in the seventh house. It's in the partnerships and marriage, right? So and it's regarding any types of relationships, interactions, friendships, family relationships. So, and there's a wound there, and then there's a wound in the sign of Cancer as well. So yeah, it's been quite intense for me. That's why I didn't know if I was going to do the reading today because it was just really overwhelming, like so many tears. Okay, so enough about me, and well, that's regarding everyone as well. So, seventh house in Mars, Aries, nice. Yeah. So okay, so you also have it on the seventh house. That's interesting. Yeah. So quite emotional this past week and the next week. So, all right. So let's get into the reading. So like always, I'm gonna read the same two decks that I have here, but I want to add another deck, which is this one. I really want to read from this deck. So I like this deck. It's called a Tarot of the Divine. Tarot of the Divine, right? So beautiful card. Look at this beautiful deck. I really wanted to show off this. This deck is really nice. I love the divine feminine symbol, the triple goddess symbol right here, right? Totally divine intuition symbol, right? So you can see that. I love the designs there. Designs there. Right. Backside. So yeah, this is inspired by deities. So this is going to be interesting to read from this deck. So it's like folklore, fairy tales. It's based on fairy tales, folklore, inspired by deity from around the world. So it's very cultural. It's a very cultural kind of art. Tarot. I really like this deck. So I'll take a few cards from this one, and I want to show the inside of it. So I think I showed this deck before. I don't remember. So it comes with a little book. So this is a really nice little book here. Tarot of the Divine. So I have a booklet here. So you see all the art form. Beautiful colors. The interesting thing about this deck is that when I take a look at it and I take some of the cards out, I get like flashbacks of the past, like a past life. They give me images of like, oh, past life events or like a time when I was that person or like because I feel like I had to like one of the memories of my past life that I have more flashes are Hawaii and China. So like as if like had a past life in China and had a past life in Hawaii. That's where I get all my like abilities because like with my altars, I work with magic and altars, and I work with fire a lot. And I think that's where I learned it in Hawaii in a past life, or maybe it was Lemuria, I don't know. And then the herbs and knowing all these herbs and alchemic kind of knowledge or just herbal knowledge come from China, I think. The psychic lady actually confirmed it to me. She's like, "Yes, you had these 2 places plus these other places, and you still have to learn m more teachings from there," so it was pretty cool. So that's why when I take a look at this, I'm like, "Whoa," I, like, get flashes there. So it's pretty nice. So maybe when I do a reading, you guys may have some memories of your past life with this deck. So that's how the card looks behind it. I like the design. Cards here. Okay, okay, but we'll read this later. Let's start to do your reading. Now that Felix is calm, finally. Uh, okay, so let's start with the psychic tarot for the heart. To open up the heart space. Let's take a few cards for the next week. So the week, I forgot to mention the days. So this reading is going to be based on the 2 weeks from April the 6th to April the 19th. And then after that, we start with a new moon, which I'll do a reading also for the new moon on April 20th. So I'll do full moon reading and new moon reading. So that matches 2 weeks from now. So 2 weeks from now will be the new moon. So I'll do another reading for the new moon. So yeah, so this is from April the 6th to April the 19th. Tarot reading. We have choose your battles. We have master. We have shine. We have daydreams and decisions. Hmm. There is quite a bit of conflict happening around you guys. There is some sort of battles and conflicts, and I feel like be careful with your battles and which ones to choose to battle and which ones, to just let it pass because sometimes, peace is better than fighting all the time, and we may be a bit more altered because more tense because of the full moon in Libra. And it's about relationships. So if like you're more triggered than usual, it will I do see you guys being a little more triggered than usual, right? So you're gonna need to kind of like master your emotions. You're gonna have to learn to control yourself a bit, control like that shadow side of you. You may be you may be purging out more of the shadow side of you than usual. You may be going through a lot of internal storms. I do sense like facing inner demons, confronting your inner demons, like pain bodies, right? And that's coming to the surface, right? It's coming to the surface, and you're trying your best to kind of tame it, right? You're taming it, and because this is the devil card also, and this is the this is the seven of swords, I think, right? Choose your battles. So yeah, there will be some challenges for you for the next week or so for in order to really kind of master your emotions, master yourself, and and the things that trigger you. Kind of you will be grounding yourself more and controlling parts of your emotions much more better than usual. Perhaps it wasn't that easy before, and you would get much more triggered, and you would actually show those parts of you, those shadow parts of you much more easily. And you probably hurt maybe people, you never know, you may have hurt the relationships around the partnerships or, uh, relationships, right? So it's or friendships, so maybe it was hard to control that part of you before, and I feel like this these 2 weeks, you're gonna be kind of mastering it now. You're gonna be kind of being able to see where it comes from, where the root of it is. That's where the healing begins, is when you start to confront it and you start to really kind of face it, and it's challenging to face it. It is quite hard to face those parts of us, the shadow parts of us. Sometimes we don't want to admit it, we don't want to confront those shadow parts of us, but they're there, and especially this full moon, you will need to face it and confront the situation. Maybe something's gonna help you confront it, something's gonna help you face it, face the inner demons, and by facing it, you're gonna be able to kinda tame it, right, and master those emotions within you, right, with the Master card. And it looks like you're very focused, like, you're very aware of yourself, and you're very observant of yourself, and you're gonna be very observant of yourself these next 2 weeks, and you're really gonna make effort, I feel, in regards to grounding yourself, right, and in terms of your shadow faces, right? Could be you or could be somebody else going through that, right? You are, it is hard because you are going through some sort of battles and some sort of storms I see with other people that could be kinda triggering you, which is why you have, this card, choose your battles. There are people around you who it's quite hard to face them. They may have more power than you. Could be issues at work, like in the workplace, things that don't really seem like right. Kind of feels fishy in your environment. Kind of they'll say things don't seem fair. Things don't seem right around you in your environment in terms of maybe in the workplace. People who have probably more power than you, right? People more in authority with, like, these giant heads give me the feeling of, like, people with more power that you don't really have control over, but they have control over you in the situation, and because this is a 7 of swords, it gives me the feeling of, like Hidden Agenda does. Well, it is about that, and it's, like, about secrecy, things that are behind the scene, behind the curtains that you're not aware of. So these kind of things can really affect you emotionally and can really trigger that part of you, and what sucks is that when these things happen at work, we tend to throw it to the people we live with at home or we interact with, relationship wise. And a lot of these people, they don't, your family members don't deserve that, or your relationships don't deserve that, right? Whatever happens to you at work, you have to learn to tame it because you can hurt other people, right? And we are talking about full moon in Libra, right? So this is why it's important to master your emotions because there are quite challenging situations that you're going through, and it's quite frustrating dealing with these people. And I know that feeling, like being under people who have more power over you and ganging up on you, and that can be quite painful, right? But that can be really triggering and can bring out the side of you as well, right? So you have shine also. So shine is the sun card. So the sun card is saying that there are certain things, certain opportunities are present for you that are quite optimistic, quite exciting for you. It's something to look something to look forward to in regards to, the situations that's happening to you here. And it doesn't have to be only in regards to like your workplace, but it's also in regards to the social events, people you're interacting with. Mhm. Like, maybe networking or like, I feel like it's also could be group gatherings that you are getting involved in that also could be triggering you in a sort of way because of maybe something that happened in the past that didn't go well. So that's why there's gonna be mastering your emotions. And yeah, you don't realize that you've mastered your emotions until you've actually faced it and are going through a personal trigger. So a lot of us sometimes think that we have let go of certain things or kind of brushed it out of the shoulder, right? But the reality is that life throws things at you to remind you of that wound, that scar that wasn't healed properly, right? So triggers are like wounds that are still not fully healed, and that a person suddenly pokes on the wound and like makes it worse, right? And it's not healed, so it's still fresh. The wound is still fresh there. So you poke on it and you push on it, and it starts to hurt. That's pain. So that's something that's what the shadow of you will come out, right? It's kinda like scorpion energy does that, right? So, even though you feel that you have mastered your emotions, you can't really say that until you are tested. You know what I mean? So in life likes to throw tests at you, and it will always throw tests. And sometimes you throw your own tests because I don't know about you, but where I live, I have this thing where, like, I don't know, I feel like some places have different levels of frequencies, and where I am, the frequency is like it's like, the higher the dimensions you go, the more you control, the more you feel like you control your reality and, like, everything really starts to reflect your inner world. So, lately, where I am, I've been seeing so many triggers everywhere around me, but I feel like I create them, like, they're all in my mind or they're all in me, but the pain is all reflected in me. So, I'm constantly reminded by a lot of things every time I go outside, and they're all very triggering. And I have to learn kinda like, okay, to calm down and kinda center myself because it's overwhelming sometimes. There's a lot of triggers sometimes I have around here. And it's strange because I go to other places and I don't find those triggers, right? But it's like certain places have more triggers than others. And I think it's something to do with energy, something to do with frequencies or dimensions. Some places can feel like more of a some places can feel more 3D, some places can feel more 4D to 5D, right? Depending where you are. And I feel like when you're more in the 5D, you tend to really kind of create your reality and you need to kind of like learn how to kind of like tame it a bit, like or else it can get very overwhelming. So so that's my kind of personal experience. That's my example of how I constantly have triggers around me and they kind of push my buttons or kind of like it triggers me. But I realize that it's kind of me creating that because it's my inner world that needs a lot of healing. So that's the shadow. And I feel like for certain people you may be facing for the next 2 weeks, these group of people can really be pushing your buttons or kind of like hurting that wound inside of you. And that's why it's going to be quite a challenge for you to show that you can master that part of your emotions. They're like tests. Life likes to throw tests at you, and you need to kind of pass the test. Of all the teachings you've gained, the wisdom you've gained. It's kind of like, okay, now I think I can master this, right? And that's why you have the card master, mastering those parts of the emotions, of situations that are quite triggering and hurtful and very fishy, very like things that really it's like it's kinda like your pet peeve, right? Things like that are done behind your back, dealing with authority again, or people in higher position kind of ganging up on you again, or doing something that's not right, or making or belittling you because this person looks very small compared to everyone else. And sometimes it's like abuse of power because the devil card is abuse of power too. People like to abuse their power, and that can be very painful and triggering. But rest assured that things are gonna look much more brighter after that. Like, there is something happening around you that makes you quite excited and joyful. Maybe it's getting warmer outside, maybe you're doing more activities. Just something is gonna bring your inner light. You're gonna shine again, right? You're shining, your heart is shining, your heart chakra is, opening up again, and there's, like, a light, there's a vibrance to you. You feel alive again, you feel like a kid again. You're doing the things that you love to do, and I think maybe it has to do with the weather getting warmer again, or has to do with relationships and partnerships because this is the full moon in Libra. And and this can be like a yes to your question, right? You can feel quite joyful and excited about the situation that's happening in regards to relationships or partnerships or marriages or friendships. So things are looking good for you in regards to that. Outside of everything, outside of the social drama, right? Outside of this can be quite triggering, but there are other things that on the opposite direction, there are quite good things happening for you that is making you quite content and quite happy, right? You are quite illuminated internally. So yeah, the sun card is quite a blessing to get. Um, the light, this is also the card of light. It's like the light is coming in finally after the darkness, after the shadow, after the purging, after the crying of the full moon in Libra. Or if you guys have Chiron in the seventh house, you understand that pain. So, yeah, it's gonna be quite a relief from all the moping, right? Or all um, the triggers and the shadow faces we have to confront and face and overcome, right? So there are quite good things happening for you guys too. You have daydreams and decisions as well. So there are certain decisions that you have to take. You know, again, there are certain things in life that you have to start making decisions, taking action. Perhaps you have been delaying, you have not been taking action on these situations. It's time to finally take action on these situations, right? Yeah, because like this is the Seven of Cups. So, like I said, Seven of Cups is like seeing all your options available to you, having so many options and possibilities of things that can fulfill you and make you happy. And you tend to daydream about them, like, castles in the sky, but you don't really kind of initiate and take action. And you're going to be kind of in that period these next 2 weeks where you're going to be contemplating still on which choices to take, still creating castles in the skies, daydreams, right, regarding decisions. But you will need to make a decision quite soon, right? And it looks like you will make a decision soon, but a healing one. You're quite centered. You are quite, in your meditative pose, meditative state, right? Trying to work on yourself because you are working on yourself here as well, right? So I do see you like working on yourself a lot. You are working on yourself. You are trying to really figure out what you want. You are looking deep within yourself, right? Because they are looking deep within yourself. You are looking deep within yourself to figure things out, um, to make final decisions. At the same time, I feel like you like making castles in the sky. You like daydreaming. You like to see your possibilities, and that's good. That's normal. I mean, it's all part of manifesting. But be aware also that certain things take need to eventually. You need to take action eventually on these things, right? So that's what I see here for you guys. So yeah, so that was the psychic tarot for the heart. I'm gonna now take this card and incorporate it in the reading. So Felix, I can't see Felix. I think he's in the corner. Okay, so now let's take a few cards from the tarot of the divine. So let's see, maybe some deities have some messages for us or life situations maybe. So tarot of the divine, it's this one. Okay. So this is how the card looks like, the deck. Right? Really pretty colors. Pretty colors. Okay. Felix full moon is in Aquarium and Mercury is in the Lemonade. That's my oh my gosh. That's so funny. Yeah, probably. Let's see. So we have the Six of Wands, the Ace of Cups. That's great to know. The Page of Cups and the Hierophant. Okay. So we start off with the Six of Wands. So the Six of Wands is about victory, achieving something that you desired maybe for quite a long time now. Right? Maybe you were waiting for a long time to manifest for it to happen, and it never did. But now it's happening. So good on for you. Things are working out for you. You're achieving what you want. You're achieving what you desired. You're kind of like reaching victory, right? So something that you worked hard for. And I feel this is why perhaps people can probably gang up on you, just because like you're in such a high position now with the Six of Wands. You worked really hard on something very important, and that's why you're victorious on it. But there are certain people around you who you can't really trust, who you have to be kind of cautious around you. And this could be in the workplace because this is gives me the vibe of a work job. And because you're achieving something good, there are people who will gang up on you, and there are not many good people out there, and they could use their power um, to put you in a disadvantage. That's why it can really, really trigger you, right? Right. But you kind of aware of this, and you kind of know what to do. So you're kind of, like I said, you're mastering the situation. But there is victory for you. There is achievement happening for you. There is some sort of, yeah, it's like something you worked so hard on finally is like reaching towards you. It's like, yeah, like a battle. Maybe you won a battle. Maybe it wasn't easy to confront all these people or these people in higher power, or just people who have more of an advantage than you. But it looks like that didn't stop you because even though this person's there, small, feeling belittled, quite strong, quite determined, fighting for what you want. So that looks quite positive. You also have the Ace of Cups. So the Ace of Cups is something, beautiful, blissful, emotional fulfillment. Something's definitely kind of giving you the opportunity to feel that emotional fulfillment, to feel quite content with an opportunity that is coming forward for you. Um, could be an opportunity to go to somewhere that is quite fulfilling because, we have the Page of Cups, the Page of, oh, it's an offer. I thought it was the Page of Wands. No, okay, now it makes sense. So it's two cups. So yeah, there's an offer from somebody who's offering you their cup. Could be a young person, young boy, young girl, quite pure, quite innocent with the rabbit there. Kind of like giving you this cup, this Ace of Cups, kind of giving you this like offer of love. So if you guys are looking for relationships, if you're single, this could be an opportunity for you in the next 2 weeks to find love. There's somebody offering you their cup, their love, and this could be quite emotional, quite fulfilling for you and this person. Um, it could be an offer of friendship, getting to know somebody at a much more deeper level, in a more emotional level, very fulfilling, right? And could be an activity, could be a job opportunity that is also very fulfilling for you, that is coming forward in the next 2 weeks. That is something that you align with and fulfills you, and it speaks to your soul. That's what the Ace of Cups is. It's more like things that resonate with you, resonate with your soul, right? And with the page here, it's the offer. It's the person kind of giving you this offer, this opportunity to feel fulfilled. So I feel this is what's making you feel quite content for the next 2 weeks. this is what's kind of bringing you joy. There's like this certain light inside of you emanating. There's like a sense of ecstasy, kind of like blissful feeling, like kind of like a yes to your question, right? So there is somebody here who is kind of walking towards you to offer you this. Yes, so this person is offering you this cup, right? And this is how you're gonna feel in the end. So there is like, yeah, an emotional, fulfilling opportunity being given to you in the next 2 weeks. So there is an opportunity for you, guys, for perhaps for new love, new relationships, new interactions. Um, yeah, so embrace it. Accept that cup of love. Accept that cup of fulfillment. If it's not relationships, if it's not intimate relationships or romantic relationships, it can be opportunities people are giving you that can bring you fulfillment, and so accept it. Say yes, accept the offer because this is quite fulfilling. I mean, you have the Ace of Cups. You have like the light beaming inside of you, like shine, your heart chakra. So that's quite a positive answer. That's a quite a positive, card. You also have the Hierophant, and I connected with this one because they're both kind of like gives me the same energy, same vibe for the both of them. They're both kind of centered in a very meditative state as well, like as if they're looking for an answer within them, like trying to figure things out internally, and finding the answers internally through their strength and power, through their willpower or their own sense of power. So the Hierophant is also about religious beliefs, things regarding like-mindedness, spirituality, or any type of religion, tradition. Sometimes maybe relearning certain traditions, certain things that could be from your background, could be from your past life that you're kind of remembering how to do these things again and learning how to work on these things. It comes from a culture, from a tradition, learning from a particular culture, from a particular tradition. You're relearning their traits probably and being more aware of it, maybe more and respecting it more, or incorporating those culture and traditions into your daily lives. Right? So the Hierophant is I'm not sure which culture is this. I'll take a look at it because this is folklore. So something about this you're learning for the next 2 weeks. Hierophant. So I'm just going to read it here to take a look at it, what it is. So this is the Lakota deity. The Hierophant is a divine figure, a teacher who shares the rules, rites, and rituals to follow as a community. There's a place for everyone, and everyone in their place. She encourages the comfort and support of the group, the path well trodden. So upright conformity, compassion, social approval, tradition, legacy. Yeah, so there is, yeah, like I said, it's regarding tradition, something regarding learning about a religion, a culture, and trying to incorporate it into your life with this kind of energy. So I think that's going to help you kind of figure certain things out that you're confused at this moment about. Um, let's take more cards for fun, just because I like to use the cards. I haven't taken them out as much, so let's take out more cards. You have the Knight of Coins, the Queen of Coins, and the Emperor. Hmm. Could be a job offer, could be a job opportunity. Perhaps that's why maybe that's a lot of trigger. But at the same time, there's a lot of good opportunities here. Other than like the challenging ones I see here, there's also like well, also you have an emotional like opportunity too, but that could be more regarding to love. I feel like that's more regarding to relationships. You also have quite a few coin cards here. You have coins. Queen of coins right here. So the Nine of Coins speaks of stability, having like financial security. Security, not just emotional security, it's more like financial security, like having everything you need secure, perhaps from a certain job or a certain income flow, money coming forward for you. We have the Queen of Pentacles, so something in regards that you are skilled at. So you're very skillful at something, and that skill is finally going to pay off. You're going to finally earn the money and rewards regarding that skill. So Queen of Coins, Queen of Pentacles is you, the one with the skills, right? So there are a lot of skills. You have a lot of talents and skills to offer, right? But not many of us, you know, are found, right? Or people find us in terms of being able to take our skills to our, to the most advantage, right? We don't use our skills to the most advantage. So this is going to give us an opportunity. Somebody is going to come forward and give us an opportunity to finally kind of be able to express our gifts and our talents and be compensated by it, right? In a good way, in a good compensation, right? Like what we're worth, right? And our value, what we're really worth, we will be compensated by it, right? So as the Queen of Coins, and Queen of Coins can be also male, doesn't have to be just a female. But it's a very earthly element, very grounded person that has a lot to give and offer. Could be nurturing too. And there's like this man here, the Knight of Coins, who's you know uh, giving an opportunity to the Queen of Coins for a job or stability or security. Maybe it's not regarding a job, but it's something that will help her with whatever she's trying to build for herself as the Queen of Coins, right? So that's good. Because there's also the Emperor card, and the Emperor is about work, stability, and job, like an authority figure taking charge. So you will be encountering like a boss figure, somebody who's in charge this next 2 weeks. So you have the Knight of Coins and you have the Emperor, two cards that are kind of representing people in authority or people offering you something financially or secure. So there are people who are people in authority who is offering you an opportunity for financial income and security because you are the Queen of Coins and you have a lot to offer. They do see your skills. You are quite skillful in what you do. You're good at what you do, your coins, and so there will be kind of like an offer given to you. And again, this could lead you to something good. So make sure to take that offer. All right. All right. So I'll just leave it at that. And I see the 10 of coins here in the background. So that gives me the feeling of like a work environment, place where, there's coworkers or people with the same skills as you under someone's authority and under someone's care or um, security. So yeah, so there is quite good things coming for you guys for the next 2 weeks. Opportunities, emotional opportunities as well that can bring fulfillment and love, perhaps in relationships. Victory in whatever you're doing in your job, and that could be, the offer that you're getting as the Queen of Coins, right? So embrace that. And like I said, mastering your emotions with certain things that could be triggering with these people, that could be deceptive, but you have it under control because there's also good things happening for you. Okay, so don't dismiss the good things that are happening for you, and that you need to start to take action on certain things. Okay, all right. So that was the Tarot of the Divine. I'll start taking more cards of the Tarot of the Divine because there's so much more beautiful artwork here, and maybe I can go through them a bit, but because I'm running out of time, but there are quite a few beautiful cards here. So this is the Hawaiian card that I get. This is the card I got a really strong connection with. The volcano, the fire, where fire element is. So I kind of connect with this card a lot. That's where I got like a vision from Hawaii. What other cards? Oh, and this is like the Three of Swords. I got a vision with this one too. I got a vision from this. I don't know if this is a Chinese culture folklore. I got a vision on that one too. I was like, yes. I like this one too. Beautiful cards, colors, Ace of Coins. I like this one. Star, healing. So there's a lot of no, so there's a lot of nice artwork here that I like to show up. This is the dragon. Oh, I remember I had like this card came out a lot when I was dealing with like a really bad supervisor in my workplace, and I got this card. And what it would tell me is that he was two-faced. So one moment he was cool and collective, and one moment he really wanted to like cutthroat me, meaning really wanted to like get me fired and out of here. Like would use any type of excuse to get me in trouble and put me like in a very bad situation. That's why I relate to one of the cards down there. So he was two-faced, and I can see he had two personality disorders. And one of them was I could get along with him when he was okay in this form, right? But then he was so full of rage and anger, and that came from a lot of pain. I don't know if he was abused or something, and like that would be me with the Three of Pentacles. This is the Three of Pentacles would be kind of like working on your crafts, working on your skills, observing what you're doing, how you're doing, and having the feathers on the hat represents all the years of skills you have. So it's like you're embracing your gift, but people around you they're gonna be jealous of you, and some people are not well mentally. They're two-faced. One person will show up like a good, nice personality, and then one moment they want to cutthroat you. It's like very bipolar. And I had to I've dealt with a lot of, with these type of people, like these two-faced people, and had to kind of like, it's hard to give out your skills and your talents when you're under bad supervision or people who don't really want to see you grow or help you become the best version of yourself. It's more like they want to get rid of you as much as they can. And that's why we saw choose your battle and choose your battles. And what was the other one? Um, master, mastering your emotions. So some things like this, you don't have control over it. Like you can't do anything about it. People have people have more power than you, and even though their actions aren't moral, they don't mean well to you. You're still under their under their supervision, and they can really screw you up. So that's kind of like a part of you that you're gonna need to master and not get triggered about interacting with those situations again, reliving those situations again, especially if you get opportunities like that. It's gonna be challenging, right, to master that. But yeah, people do that to you, and it's amazing how spoiled some people in authority are. Like there are a lot of like, for example, in my field, we just have supervisors and directors, but we don't have like managers and bosses. But a lot of the supervisors are spoiled, become very spoiled, meaning like no matter how much they can screw an employee up, the person that is above the supervisor will still defend the supervisor and not do anything about it because of how spoiled they are, like because they spoiled them. So because people in authority get spoiled. It's and even though they're doing harm to the employee, they can screw them up psychologically. They can a lot of people in authority are bullies. There's a lot of harassment at work. And even people when you deal with harassment at work, um, even people like HRs, they don't it's funny because some people make a joke and they're like, "Okay, we'll complain to HR." Ah, ha, ha, that's a joke. Because like, you really can in these days, and I'm gonna make a whole podcast about this. I'm gonna let everyone know about this industry. I won't mention the industry I am in. I think I mentioned it already, but I'm gonna really finally say a few things that are in my mind. So, um, I'm making a podcast with my friend Brandon. So we're gonna be doing podcasts together. Um, so we're gonna get together and video chat about how we're gonna talk about this, but we're not gonna talk about that yet. We're not gonna talk about the industry I'm in yet. We're gonna talk about other stuff, but we're soon gonna talk about my industry. And there's a lot of bad things about it. And it's like, oh, it's kind of like the Pluto is an Aquarius now. Yeah, Pluto is an Aquarius, so that means that I think if Pluto was in Capricorn before, and my workplace, it's Capricorn energy. So I make a joke. I'm like, man, I have to deal with all these Plutonians, but they're not because I don't know how to say like a plural version of people who have Pluto energy. And the workplace, Capricorn had a lot of Pluto energy, and I've been dealing with that for like 10 years, dealing with people like Pluto energy in Capricorn, and it's been hell. And I've gone through hell, and a lot of my partner has gone through hell, and a lot of people I know have gone through hell in the industry that I'm in. And like, some people they pretend that they don't go through hell, but they've gone through hell. Because it's about reputation, about this place that it's actually hell. So yeah, you right, Kevin? So I mean, they're bullies. Directors can be bullies. Supervisors can be bullies. Producers can be crazy and bully, like, they're bullies too, and some of them can be very wackos. I remember I was in the studio and, like, one producer would just constantly scream out loud and, like, it's ridiculous. It was like it bleeds down. Like, leaks the blood leaks down because if you're under a very abusive boss or manager, or if, like, you're under the wing of a director and he's abusive or she's abusive, you're gonna be like that, and then you're gonna treat the people under you abusively and, like, toxic way, and then the chain carries forward, and the toxicity carries forward, and the mental health increases, the abuse increases. So it's like it's ridiculous. So that's why I'm just like, I don't think I'm gonna do this anymore, this career anymore, because I kinda wanna do something else. I kinda wanna put a light on that Pluto energy in that Capricorn energy, right? I'm kind of afraid though because Pluto is in Aquarius now, so, Aquarian energy, it's all about what I'm doing here, talking, through the internet, it's the information age, right? Electronics, technology. So I'm really kind of afraid that a lot of things don't become corrupted in regards to that because we are in the Aquarian age. So could be not that bad. Could be not. Or we could be discovering things that are really kind of on the shadow side in regards to the internet. Like there are lots of stalkers there on the internet. Really, like disturbing things that actually happen in the internet, right? And that's also Pluto and Aquarius. So yeah, but we'll talk about that later. So I'll do a podcast with my friend Brandon, and we can talk about all that after. But yeah, so a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things that I want to bring to the surface and put like a light on the shadow of that industry and the reality, and like hopefully I can get real cases, like permission from people to actually discuss real cases about about the situations that happened there, and yeah, kind of put it down, because that's not well, structures are kind of collapsing now. They're kind of, this Aquarian also destruction. So Pluto and Aquarius, so destruction of old structures, which is why this industry is going down now because it's like It's not only it's the karma of it, but it's like it has to break. Like these structures, they can't continue. Not in this era, not in the Aquarian area. So that's why it's gonna kind of reminds me of Linkin Park, burning it down to build it back up again. So that one's a fun song. Burning it down. Oh, I love that song. So it's like that's very Aquarian. My North Node is an Aquarius, so I'm very kind of have that rebellious spirit in me, and like kind of revolution, kind of like activist. So I love breaking old structures and to rebuild it, and I love not complaining, but like kind of bringing out to the surface what they're doing wrong in certain companies and corporations, because oh my goodness, the terror, the disgustingness that they do there in these companies and the corporation, and the abuse, psychological abuse, mental health issues. All these workers have developed mental health issues. All these workers are now broken. All these workers, not only got messed up psychologically, emotionally, but in a soulful level, you lose your soul. And I was almost one of them too, but I kind of, I'm an alchemic shamanic woman, so I know how to resurrect myself back. So resurrect myself from the dead to get you guys all back, right? So yeah, but that's not the intention. The intention, see, that's my Aquarian, like the Pluto and Aquarius, like Aquarius, kind of like destruction to bring forth new beginnings that are healthier for you, that are good for society. It's like this, it has to, that industry is going down because it just wasn't good for anyone, no one employee, and I hope it goes down. And I know people will lose their job, but they're gonna find something else, and it's not gonna screw them up psychologically anymore, mentally anymore. It's abusive. It's an abusive industry. It's become abusive. It was not like that before. It was sad because it was I had so many dreams about this industry, but it became corrupted. It became bad, or maybe you never knew about it, but then once you're in it, you start to see it. You start to see the real face of that company, or you start to see the real faces of that industry, right? So now all industries are good too. I know some places are corrupted. All places are corrupted, but it's the Aquarian age, so it's time to break those structures down to bring something new. So yeah. Anyways, that's in our podcast, so stay tuned. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a card. Let's take a card out for the Enchanted Map Oracle card. Something to calm us down. Talisman. Ooh. Talisman. I like the energy of this card, but let's read what it means. I think I already kind of feel what it is about. One thing is I'm grateful is that, after ending every contract with the job that I am in, that's, in the industry that I'm in, I find my mental health improving so much better, like a drastic improvement in my mental health. Like, whereas it was like deteriorating when I was in there. And especially when you're with a bad boss, bad supervisor, bad people in authority, they will really on purpose mess you up more psychologically and emotionally, or wound you so much that they can break you, right? So yeah, you got to be careful who you are under, who is the person of authority over you. If you're lucky, if you have someone watching over you, some people I know who have good people watching over you, a good boss figure, a good mentor, then you're good, right? But it's not all cases is like that. You can have really bad bosses, really bad mentors, really bad supervisors, and you can't do anything about it. You gotta, they take advantage of the situation, and because you need the job. But then, it's all an illusion, because once you're out of it, it's like, why was I there the whole time? There's other solutions to in my life that I can resolve and not have to harm my mental health because of this, right? So that's why, at first it feels like devastating, like, like, oh, this is everything I know, or no, this can't happen to me. But then it's like, oh, thank God it happened to me, or thank God I'm not there anymore. Like, what a like this torturous place, like torture. It's like being tortured every day. Okay, talisman. Sorry. Okay. 49. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that. I'm gonna let it all out in my podcast. Just wait. Okay. Talisman. So talisman. Let's read. Wisdom allows you to recognize traps on the road and familiar patterns that you want to avoid. It also enables you to quickly gather information about where you are on your journey. It helps you recognize your alleys and know how to find the best routes along the way. Now you're at a place where you know the right things to do and the best choices to make. You really can't commit a mistake. Whatever your inquiry, great fortune awaits you, for you have the wisdom to arrive at the right decision. You've learned your lesson and earned the right to your success. Okay. Yeah, like I said, this really looks it's simple. Like, I relate this to myself too. But it's like you've gone through the challenges in your life. You've gone through the storms in your road, in your journey. You are aware now of what's not good for you and what is good for you, or you're aware what's not morally right and what is morally right. You're aware of who's your ally and who's not your ally. You're aware. You know now, you've learned, you have gained wisdom through your trials and errors. The path you went was painful and challenging, perhaps, or stormy, or emotional, or abusive. You never know, right? But you've done it and you've passed through it. So whatever your story is in this card, whatever journey you passed, whatever situation you had to go through, it's kind of like it's done now. You know now, you've gained wisdom, you gained the experience, you're more wiser, you're more smarter, and you're more sharper. So nobody can fool you anymore, let's just say, right? You know who your allies are and you know who your allies are not. You've gained a sense of wisdom, and it comes through pain, but everything in life comes through pain, right? And now you know what to do. Now you know the actions to take. Now you know the direction you need to go, because you know what's good and when you know what's not good for you, and you know what's good for you. So it's time to kind of embrace the path that you're in. Embrace now this new journey. Maybe if you are heading to a new journey, or after you've gained a certain lesson of these trials and challenges, you have a better perception of where you need to be. You have a new perception of everything around you. So, yeah, so now you learned, now you're wise, now you're stronger, and now you know who to trust and who not to trust. And now you know how things work around you. And now you know the path to take and what actions you need to take and what not to do and what to do and what to not repeat, right? And not repeat the same situations again as well, that you had to deal with before. So you know where you need to go. You know your path now, okay? So that's the message for you. Okay, guys? All right, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this full moon in Libra reading for the next 2 weeks until I do the new moon reading, which is in the next 2 weeks. So that's April 20th. So this is from April 6th to April 19th. And and this was also the pink moon, the pink full moon. So that's quite nice energy with the pink moon in our essence, in our energetic field. And it's quite a blessing with also that energy. So yeah, if it resonates with you, maybe you know what it means, right? And yeah, the painful part was that Libra energy, right? That we're purging out, but there's also good things in this full moon, in this pink full moon. Also, that seems to feel like a blessing as well. So, and you'll know in the next 2 weeks too. Okay. All right, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this weekly reading, full moon in Libra. Okay. Have a good one. Yeah, and I'll let you guys know more about the podcast with me and my pal Brandon. Okay. All right, guys. Peace. Bye.